Welcome to another episode Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Jake.
What's up, man?
Jake, give me a surprise scenario. I've been waiting for someone to just shoot random shit with on scenarios, man, because I love putting myself in situations I can't get out of.
Ah, um, this is definitely I normally prep one, you know what I mean, and go crazy. What sort of stuff you into? Let's build some. Let's get a bit of background first, mate, and then we'll deep dive.
I'm afraid of balloons, and I like tacos. Does that help at all?
All right. So the best taco you can possibly imagine is at the top of a mountain, but the only way to get to the top of that mountain, you gotta get in that hot air balloon, mate.
In a hot air balloon.
For the best taco.
Fuck that. I don't care. Those people never make it. Anybody that's ever done a hot air balloon, I don't know. People that say they survived, I just think they're ghosts. That doesn't make any sense. That is the scariest thing in the world. I'm afraid of heights, and that was just,
Yeah, there's no way I'm getting in a hot air balloon, mate.
Okay, one for you. What if you could have maybe a superpower, but it came with a side effect? So if you could fly, it would have to be indoors. You can only fly indoors every time you hit the roof.
Yeah.
So that means what superpower would you want?
Oh, what could I have? There's just too many to choose from. I think the ability to stop time, right?
Okay.
But
if you stop
everyone
time,
else,
it's
it's
going to be for 24 hours, and you can't unfreeze it until that 24 hours is up.
Oh, I think that's perfect. Just 24 hours to yourself.
How is that perfect? 24 hours? That would get so monotonous where it would be like, but you have to activate it once a day. So then next thing you know, that means you'll have to basically be frozen time throughout life.
Yeah, so your year then would be double everyone else's year because every other day you've got a day to yourself.
You would never have actual time again. You'd be frozen for a full 24 hours, then you'd have to reactivate it again. So it'd be like you're on time freeze forever. Eventually, it's going to be like I Am Legend, where you start talking to mannequins and shit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought it'd be like you could freeze it, but it's a 24-hour period, and then that's it. You go back to...
And it's back to frozen again.
Yeah. No, fuck that.
Is that kind of the scenarios you talk about on the show? I know you do surprise scenarios podcast.
Yeah, so basically, it's me and my buddy. With 2020 the way it was, we've been toying with like a podcast for years. We found like, you know what, we're both in lockdown. Let's do this. And it was Nick come up with the idea of like it's an untapped market almost, where it's just hypotheticals. So we each go away. So, for example, like the first episode is you wake up in the body of a dog.
So there are so many things you can do with that.
Yeah, so I think that's like episode 1. So our audio's a bit dodgy, but yeah, basically we don't know. You know, we each go away, we write a scenario for the other person. They don't know what's coming. We sit down, we record, and it's like boom. You eat some cake. The next morning, you wake up and you're in the body of a dog, and it just goes from there, man.
Hey, did the cake turn you into a dog?
Yeah, but that's it. We've got to workshop the story while we're doing it. We take the piss out of each other and stuff. So yeah, the basic spoiler alert for episode 1. You know, we eat the cake, turn into a Saint Bernard dog, and then I have to figure out to convince my family that I was actually who I was, not just a random dog that showed up. And then I have to figure out why I turned into a dog, and then I have to turn myself back into. And it's just a wild ride. It's just crazy stuff like that we come up with.
Okay, I got one for you.
Go on.
You could have the sex appeal of Austin Powers. Like you get any chick you want, any chick you want, but you lose the sense of touch.
Oof. Now is that all over touch?
Yes, sensation. So you don't feel any of it.
You just know.
Someone took your mojo, baby.
Yeah, man. I'd have to pass on that one, because there's no point having all the ladies if you can't feel anything.
Ah, that's true. Would you rather be taken care of by, let's say, I'm giving you a choice in your life right now. You could have all the money in the world and have a really hot wife, or you could have, but you'd be old, you'd be an old man, or
Right.
the reverse, where you're the hot young one, but you have an old lady that you have to give once a month her needs filled. But then you have all her money.
Yeah, all the money. Uh, hmm.
I'm picking out some good ones, dude.
Yeah, man. I think I'd take the older lady. I'm a generous lover. You know what I mean? I don't mind giving this lady.
That's what I'm
She wants more.
saying. You get to ride around in a fucking McLaren, and then once a month you got to do that. That's nothing to me.
I do it once a week, mate. I'd get it. You could say it was an old man. I'd do it to the old man, mate. Ride around that McLaren all day. Nice moves.
Would you rather be famous for a good thing or a bad thing?
I think a good thing.
I feel like a bad thing you'd be talked about more, like longer, like through history.
Oh no, no, yeah. I don't need that. I'm not. I'm not in it for the fame. Just a nice good deed comes and goes. Whereas if like, say Hitler, that guy's name's gonna be remembered forever.
That's what everybody tosses out, even though there's way more people worse than Hitler.
So, but it's the first. It's the instant recognition. You know what I mean? There's never.
It's the mustache. He had a trend.
Yeah, that's it. Needs a specific look that needs to nail down early on.
Imagine you could have maybe the power to grow amazing facial hair, but at the cost of your actual hair. So you'd just be bald.
I see that's a good trade off, because I know a lot of dudes who've got like bald heads but majestic beards.
That's what I'm saying is you could never be Jake again. You would just be another one of those bald, majestic beard guys that everyone sees like a hipster.
Yeah, that's like I'm the opposite way around. I got like pretty good hair, but I cannot grow facial hair for the sake of my life.
I just want to grow mutton chops because I feel like I could rock a pair of mutton chops.
You could, yeah, you do look a good mutton chop guy.
There's just a look about the face like that guy's a mutton chop man. I'm waiting for you to toss me out a scenario.
Right, let me hit one up for you, man. Let me hit one up.
You got ones better than I do. That first one was a freaking brain teaser right there. That had me.
I mean, we always spend like days just crafting the stories and stuff. You got me by a. You as well with the show today was like an absolute surprise scenario. I was like, hey man, I seen your show. Do you want to come on tomorrow? Yeah, all right.
That's what I'm saying. I was excited. I was like, hang on a second. Would you rather be the first person on Mars or the first person to discover alien life and make contact?
Ooh, goddamn! I'd love to go to Mars, man. Straight up,
You don't want to see
excited about.
aliens?
I think you do both. You step foot on Mars, like, oh my god, I'm on Mars. Boom, aliens.
I'm
and you're dead.
freaking scared. First of all, you might run into Dr. Manhattan creating some weird ass shit. I've seen enough naked people in my life to where I never want to see a naked person again. Just from working at a gym. But on the concept of if you like Buzz Aldrin, for instance, he's been to the moon, but he goes off and starts saying that aliens are real and then how they found water on the moon. And I'm like, are we venting our astronauts on the sanity of maybe they shouldn't be spouting this to the public? Like, did he come in contact with aliens? Imagine that. Neil Armstrong was the first guy on the fucking moon, but you were the first one to discover alien life.
See, as well, if you discovered it and then you came out with proof, I think you're getting assassinated. Say, like, they were on Earth and I'm not an astronaut, and I come out my studio in a minute, and then there's like a green man in the garden. I take photos. I take it to Twitter. Next minute, the MIBs are looking at me and they're taking me out.
Imagine
I think
you discover McDonald's secret recipe of what they put in their meat, but you can't tell anybody because as soon as you tell them, the words kill them. Like they just die.
What do you think it actually is in McDonald's meat? Because it's not 100% beef.
It's artificial for sure, but I think it's
Yeah.
like they do the cloning on the cows where they like literally like just breed blank genetic cows and then they just slaughter them for meat.
Hmm.
And then they paint it and give
Mad.
you a Happy Meal toy.
And there you go. You just eat them up. Nom 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 nom.
Honestly, I just do it for the Happy Meal toy. I'm not. I just go there and buy one. The guy's like, "Are you sure it's $1.50?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I don't care about the food."
Right. Let me give you a fucking scenario, mate. Let me get. I'll pull up notes. It's like show ideas. So you're getting a full exclusive here, mate.
You listen to my brothel episode. You've seen the insight into my life and where my brain goes.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Ultimate banger. Right. Every currency in the world, probably a little bit insensitive at the minute, but every currency in the world at the minute just hits zero. Money means nothing. How fast do you think the world descends into rioting and chaos?
I think a better scenario to that would be like, imagine if everybody's bank accounts were zero.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like everything, just currency is just gone.
Depends. Do we know why it's crashed? Because like, if I found out my bank account was zero, but people still had money, and it was just me that was experiencing that, I would be killing some people. I'd be on the phone with my bank. What the fuck happened?
All right, so let's picture this. You're at an ATM, right? And there's like three in a row. So there's three of you at the ATM. You put your card in, put your digits, check your balance, zero. The woman next to you, same thing happens, zero. Next one, and you can just hear it. It's all kicking off. People, around in the streets. Whoa, what's this? What's this? How fast do you think that would travel? Look, everyone's banks just boom, hit zero.
That would be like maybe in the first hour. It would descend. Everybody would end up finding out after an hour. But does that mean prices on things still cost money, but I don't have any money to pay for them?
Yeah. Just say like just the world. Well, maybe not the world right now because it's fucked as it is. But it's normal times. Yeah, you just go to the cash machine, mate, and there's just no money. There's no money in the government. No money whatsoever. It's just evaporated. You don't know why. It's just gone.
Riots would happen. People would be stealing shit all over the place.
Yeah, that was one of my first ones I had for like before we started the show, but then with the sort of COVID, and we try and make the show fun and like like escapism or whatever. But I was like, yeah, well, we'll shelve that one till things are a bit better because it's easy to see how that would be like now, with what's going on and stuff. It's crazy.
I got the old school scenario for you: world peace or end world hunger.
Whew.
I think
I think
I think
the two
ending
would come
world
hand in hand.
hunger, dude. Yeah, ending world hunger
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
might lead to world peace.
yeah,
It's an old school Snickers commercial. You're not you when you're hungry.
yeah, man. No, yeah, it'd be a beautiful thing, though, wouldn't it? Just everyone's needs taken care of and stuff, and you know, I think that it just if world hunger finished, there's no fighting.
But you would choose $1 billion over helping somebody. Honestly, that's the common choice. Everybody's like, well, I have to say I would help somebody because I'm on air. It's like, no, you wouldn't. You would take the $1 billion. If a person came up to you and said, hey, for $1 billion, you can have, but someone in the world that you don't know is going to die, you would take the $1 billion.
Yeah, I think it's over the selfish. Yeah, like you said, gun to your head, $1 billion, but someone totally random you'll never even know
I
is
see.
gonna die.
I would ask if I could pick the person because I look at it like I always have to raise a question, but I feel like as soon as I go, yeah, I'll take the $1 billion, then the person that dies is going to be like one of the Chinese monks that I really want to go visit when I get older.
Yeah, someone you didn't think you were want to meet but did meet.
Now, would you rather be in a coma for 30 years and then not be able to have a dream about it? Or would you rather be in a coma and then just skip the 30 years? So you would be 30 years in like a dream, but then 30 years in a coma where you don't have a dream.
I think you want to dream, don't you? Dream, yeah, definitely dream for 30 years and just nothing. You just sleep, blank, wake up, and it's 30 years in the future. That would be. Whereas if you had like a sort of DMT experience where you're sleeping.
Like Adam Sandler
Visit.
in the movie Click, where he wakes up and he's got like
Yeah,
he's like, what happens? Like, oh, it fast forward through your sickness. It's like, how long was I sick? 10 years. It's like, oh, I miss so much.
yeah. No, I think if you could like experience something like a DMT trip or something like that, and some psychedelic dreams for 30 years, and then you just wake up and it's the future.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about like, imagine if the Earth is gonna explode and we're gonna have to find one of these Goldilocks planets. Who would be like the crew that was like get sent out there? I've heard so many people go, I would love to be sent into outer space. I'm like, I fucking wouldn't. I don't like it when I move. Like when I find a new home, I'm so uncomfortable. I would hate to find a new home, literally new planet. Like imagine if the sun just screams for 48 hours a day. Like the days are like 50 hours long. So you have 2 hours of silence and then the sun just screams. How as it's rising, it's just screaming like in Rick and Morty. That would be
Yeah,
fucking terrible.
yeah. Yeah, you land on the planet. You're like, wait, what? There's no Wi-Fi here?
That's when people say, like, I don't like our president. I'm like, I like to look at the president and then be like, imagine the choices he gets offering. Well, sir, we're going to have to either destroy this state or we're going to have to destroy this state. And you're like, well, those are two states and those are people that live in those states. Well, which one do you like the least? It's like fucking Connecticut because I can't spell it. And you're like, okay, like you have these tough decisions.
Yeah, that's it. It's not an easy job, like.
Yeah.
So, anyway, another scenario.
I've tossed out like 30. I'm waiting for like a one that's gonna whop me in the face.
Oh man, if you had said like, we'll do the show, we'll get some scenarios going, but you just like, come on tomorrow. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
I'm
That's the
thinking
surprise.
the way your episode goes is like I think that you guys are just tossing out these. I didn't know you crafted them out. I was expecting like these guys, they're tossing out scenarios that are like blowing my mind here.
Which one did you listen to, by the way?
I listened to episode 1 and 2.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, so that was just like, yeah, they're the initial ones. So go on. Episode 2 is time travel. If you was going back in time, where would you go?
Fuck, that's a really hard one. I've answered that before, but I feel like my answer keeps changing. Like I've been binging Assassin's Creed right now. So I'm like all about maybe I want to go back into the Viking days, even though I know I won't survive.
Yeah. Well, again, the concept of what we put forward to that is like, it's time travel, but we set rules in it. So like you could go back in time to a certain point, but as an observer, so you can just watch it. So, you go back to Viking times, but you're not necessarily a Viking. You just sit there, watch people decimate each other, and you just come back to the real world.
If we conceptualize the power of time, do you think that would be something that we should never know? Because if so many people would just go back to observe things, like wonder if like, is this really as true as we've been thinking it has been for so long? I don't know if I could handle that. Like if somebody told me like, oh, you know, the dinosaurs, they didn't actually get hit by a meteor. There was just a giant thing of apes that killed them all. And I was like, I don't know if I could be able to just like finding out Leonardo da Vinci isn't as talented as everyone says he is. Like I would die. I wouldn't want to live anymore.
This is like a common thing with scientists now, anyway, where you're so rooted to the idea that this sort of taught and learned that it's hard to adapt and change to new ideas and stuff. Whereas I think you have time travel, you prove it. Well, in the case of the dinosaurs, the big one for me, obviously, probably you growing up, you watched Jurassic Park. That's your idea in your mind of what a dinosaur looks like. And when people come out now, it's like, no, they have a lot more flesh on their body. They look more bird-like. They got feathers. You're like, no, I can't deal with that right now, because in your head you're stuck with that image of what a dinosaur should look like.
And plus, it's like you
And I
never
think
meet your heroes. Imagine going
that's
back
it. Yeah.
going back in time and seeing the dinosaurs, and they're just assholes that like heckle you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, human,
Yeah.
hey, human, you piece of shit. And you're like, wow, you're really mean for a T-Rex. Like, really mean.
Yeah, like, no, don't eat me. I wasn't gonna eat you, you piece of shit.
I don't eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to like maybe probably I would have to say I would like to go back to the day like with Jesus. I just want to know if he actually turned water into wine or if that was just like a story told thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just think just everything it just and depending on how you live your life and stuff, for black and white, you go back in time, it's proof, and it's like, boom, here you go. This is what there was a Jesus. This is not fake. This is whatever. These are what dinosaurs look like. This is what Roman times did. This is exactly what the gladiators did. The potential there if time travel came.
I'm going to toss you in a hypothetical right now. So basically, if we go back 150 years and I'm giving you the presidential seat right now. So here it is. You have the option to choose we explore space, we explore the sea, or we explore the human mind. Which one are you going to send all our resources into?
God damn. 150 years ago. So you're limited by the technology you got anyway.
Well, you're limited by the technology, but whatever you do is going to decide the fate of the United
Yeah,
States, where it's going to go.
Yeah, it bleeds through into like the future. I suppose you know what, like the human mind, because if you put that into say education or just anything to do with developing humans and anything like that, it bleeds on. So say 150 years ago, you're right, okay, we're going to invest in education, everything else as that rolls on. Say people don't fight as much, people are more educated. Maybe there's no wars, no first war, no second war, and then because people have, got that more creativity or whatever, it might lead to more scientific breakthroughs in space, sea, and you know what I mean. Could you imagine the resources like, a lot of technology's moved on because of the wars, like your telephones, communication that way is only developed because we have to do that because we're fighting. Now imagine if you was doing that sort of developments, but you weren't fighting. How much more advanced would we be right now?
Maybe we could have like superpowers like telekinesis if we focused on how far the mind can actually go. If you could program somebody's brain to do things, like be a secret agent or something that the government's been known to do, then what's to say you can't expand the brain's capability of maybe all these people that are discovering they have like a psychic ability or some type of hidden sense or something to be able to tune into that and maybe pierce the veil like you can do with psychedelics.
Yeah. It's
I just want to explore. I just want to explore the sea.
yeah. I find some kaiju or something that comes out.
That's what I'm. That's what I'm saying. If there's a movie scenario that could be an actual thing, that's the thing that'll unite everybody is when kaiju's come out. But then I'm like, and
Yeah,
then it'll turn into Pacific Rim 2, where then we get all the kaiju's handled, and then we just start fighting each other. I'm like, hang on a second.
yeah. It's a badass film, that though.
It
Pacific
is,
Rim.
and it gets a lot of shit too. But every movie I love, people hate, and I don't care.
No, that's it, man. Yeah, anything that's got giant robots fighting giant monsters, I'm all there, man.
Okay, imagine if you put all that money into the mind. What do you think we could discover about it?
I think he's like you said, man. Like you said, maybe superpowers. Telepathy, mind reading. But I think just generally, it just make us better people.
Do you think
And
it would have? Do you think it would evolve eventually to the point where we might be able to, instead of using cell phones or technology, would expand more? I'm trying to think because if you're expanding the human mind, it's all areas of it. So would you expand out the area? Maybe would the intellect rise, or would the creativity rise? And with the rise of creativity, would that create more things that would self-destruct in our lifetime? Like cell phones are kind of turning the world into trash.
yeah. I mean, it's delicate lines to walk in, and it's, all hypothetical. I think it would just rise, together. Because again, if you just went through sort of telepathy and that sort of side of things, the psychedelic route, that again it would have its own tipping point into sort of chaos. It'd be like a sort of fine balance. You know what I mean? So say everyone went like, right, you watch The Boys, that girl, the woman who can blow people's heads up. It's like
Yeah,
a superpower. She just sort of looks at you and she just blows. You know what I mean? So this would be the same thing. So you develop over time, and this one crazy kid will just be able to pop your head, pop your head. Then you got.
You start developing superpowers, like the one woman that can blow up somebody's head, and then you have the superpower to open up a soda really fast. And you're like, God, wow, why did they get all the good powers?
Yeah. So that's it's just balance. I think life is all about balance.
Okay, if you can stop you could stop a tragedy. You can either choose to save people on the Titanic, or you could. What's the worst thing to the Titanic? Or what's the as worst thing to the Titanic? There's nothing without hitting dangerous territory that might hurt some feelings.
Yeah.
The Titanic's like okay because they made a movie about it. Okay, you could stop the Titanic, or you could avoid like Pearl Harbor.
I want to say.
You had to take a deep sigh on that one.
So just trying not to upset anyone. To be honest, if you went for Pearl Harbor, because the ramifications after Pearl Harbor attacks, you know what I mean? It's knock-on lives that might be saving potentially. So yeah, there's lots of Americans die in Pearl Harbor, but then it triggers that into like more violence still. So by preventing that, you prevent additional deaths down the line as well. So a bit of a deep one there, but yeah, I'll go for Pearl Harbor.
I'd agree with that one.
And then as much as Titanic's a tragedy and stuff, it's just an isolated event, and it's loss of life only in that accident. Whereas sort of Pearl Harbor's like a tipping point that would then lead to further.
And it kind of warns people about never going on a cruise ship. I've seen way too many Facebook videos of people on cruise ships and then the thing's just flooding. I'm like, what do you do at that point? You're dead. Like you're in the middle of the ocean on a cruise ship and your cruise ship starts flooding. I would be losing my shit.
Yeah, no, it's not for me.
Now, okay, if you could choose your aliens, who would they be?
I think it's going to be the Greys. Like the stereotypical grey, the big heads with black eyes, grey.
That makes more sense. Nice. I'd be like deathly afraid if it was like the movie Alien, where they just like like that's not something I would even fight. Like you're talking about, what's that movie, Starship Troopers with Neil Patrick Harris? Fuck that. Yeah. If I get put in that scenario, you can have my planet. I'll just find another one at that point.
I'm out. You can take it.
Like, oh, we're calling to you to help save the Earth. I'm like, no, we're going to lose. Let's just be okay with that and move on and go find a different planet.
Yeah.
Now
we'll just stick to it.
You said you were trying to make your podcast, I guess, more fun with everything that was going on. So are you trying to kind of, with everything, because it is pretty depressing with everything with COVID, are you really trying to create scenarios that would be involved with COVID, but make a funner side or a different perspective to it? Because I think that's the important part of your show, is it brings in like a good perspective or a different insight into things.
That's like COVID related and stuff. It was just, we just come up with wacky ideas and stuff. And, each their own of people listen to and stuff, but if just a bit of fun. It's doom and gloom out there at the minute, and if you're stuck at home, you can't go out, then we're just a funny show. Me and Nick have been friends for like 20 years, so we know how to make each other laugh. We try and make other people laugh. We set out doing it because it's something to do in lockdown, and we was like, if we get one listen, then happy days. But quite a few people have picked up the show. You reached out to me yesterday, and I was like, oh, it's getting places now, man. So it's fun, and some of the scenarios are just crazy. It's not like we got these quick fire scenarios that me and you are doing now, whereas It's more like we plan it out. It takes on like a bit of a D&D role where, you get put into the situation. It's like, how would you work with it? And then the answer we give to each other is like, I didn't like that. That didn't work. This is how it did happen.
What
So
how would you say, like, when you're crafting out a scenario, for instance, what are the things you kind of go off of? Like, if you're take one of your episodes, for instance, like, what are the types of things you think about? Like, are you thinking about future stuff, past stuff? Are you trying to focus on?
not just general. So like one of my gets in it was he goes to Scotland and he's just in Inverness on the Loch Ness. He's just fishing and he finds the Loch Ness monster. Right, so the Loch Ness monster's real in this scenario. He's found it, and it's like, right, how do you convince the world now that the Loch Ness monster's real? And then he's got to try and then on his feet, right, how do I convince the world now that the Loch Ness monster's real? And then it just goes through it. So basically, the only thing we can do is we can write a sort of scenario at the start, set the world up, and then we just take it from there. I don't know what Nick's going to say. It's not scripted. He doesn't know what I'm going to say. So we just fill out in the middle and we try and stick the landing. And that's about it.
Okay, me and you are at a picnic. All right, we're not together. We're just enjoying a nice
Two bros.
two bros throwing it up at a picnic. Okay, but I did bring a picnic basket, and it does have some sandwiches in there. Now we're enjoying, this wonderful day out. It's a beautiful day in fall, and then we see an alien ship. And now we have to either make the decision to tell people about the aliens or just ignore it or keep it to ourselves.
So does the alien ship land?
It
or just fly by?
It straight up flies by.
And did we get any photos of this?
You don't have any photos at all. Our phones are in the car, and there's Katy Perry's Firework playing on the stereo. I don't know why that's the song, but we both don't want to change it.
It's an anthem, mate. I like it. Yeah.
Because you got to think, if you tell people, they're going to freak out. Some of them are going to freak out. And then if you also tell people, some people are going to think you're a liar. So you're at the risk of being a liar and looking crazy and maybe being locked up in an insane asylum or warning a bunch of people and causing mass panic and a riot and an even bigger freak out and maybe an economic collapse.
That escalated fast. No, I'm with you, man. Because like I said, with no photos or nothing, you're just another dude who saw an alien. It's like, you got any proof? No. All right then, and that's it. You're discredited. There's no nothing.
That's why I question people that have been abducted, and they're like, I got abducted by aliens. I'm like, why would you say that to people? Why would you tell them that? You know what everyone's going to ask is if you got probed in your ass. That's the first question. I wouldn't want to know. I wouldn't want people to know.
Sounds like you've already been probed, mate. You've been taken.
No, if I was probed, I'd be dead. I would have jumped off a building a long time ago.
Yeah, I think I'd try and tell people, but it's just I don't think many people would listen. So
I'd listen to you.
Oh man, you gotta make me blush.
But I also saw the ship with you, so I would be more in tune to believe you.
Yeah,
that could happen. Or a fact of, imagine we're in the future, let's say 100 years. We have the ability to either enjoy all of the technology, flying cars, teleportation devices, all these things. But you have to get a chip, not like the Neuralink, but into the back of your neck. So at any moment you do something that is illegal or wrong in the new rules of society, your head blows off. So that means you can choose that road of the new society where they're all upgraded and they're basically the perfect human. They never really die. They're super strong, super fast. But you have these insane rules. Like if you chew with your mouth open, boom, your head goes off. Or you do something like spit your gum out in public and someone steps on it, boom, your head goes off. Or you could live in the Amish society and deal with that, where you have to still use candlelight and all this other shit that's going to make life hella more complicated.
I think I'd take the Amish life thing, because I just like breaking the rules. I'd be like living in an Amish camp, but just like sneak my mobile phone in.
You can't, or they kill you. That's how they kill you. But they do it the old way with like lashes and stuff.
So either way, you're done. I don't know. So I'm not a rule breaker, but I'm not someone who likes to be black and white to the rules. You know what I mean? You got to have a little bit of.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to have your cell phone. Just churn butter all day. You work out the forearms and shit.
They still drink, don't they? The Amish.
They don't use phones.
No, but they drink, don't they? They have like beer and stuff.
I think maybe they make their own
Yeah.
ale. I know they make moonshine, probably.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'll churn butter and drink moonshine. And try and grow a Amish beard.
I'm pretty sure the more drunk you get, the harder it is to use your phone. So I'm pretty sure you would just lose interest in it.
Yeah, I think that'll be it rather than being like an uptight.
Like, try playing
Yeah.
Dragon City when you're hammered out of your mind. It's not fucking easy.
Yeah.
I would be jealous of the fact of maybe that you have a teleportation device, but I don't want a chip in the back of my neck where it's like, if you know how many rules I probably break on a daily basis? Just not laws, but just stupid rules. Like, you ever come across, like, you go to a place and they have like the weirdest rules in the world where you're like, I can't listen to music on my headphones? Like, it's like school rules. Like, they don't make any sense, but you understand why they're there.
Yeah. No, I say just minor things, and you just like, yeah. As much as it sounds like a really nice civilization, just that then that's the counterpoint where no, I don't want to live there because that's too extreme.
It's like when people say, would you rather live underwater or live in space? I'm like, either way, you're screwed. Because at one point, somebody's going to lose their shit, pull out a gun, and then hold everybody hostage, saying, I'm going to shoot this glass dome and kill us all unless you do what I ask you to do. And it's like, well, damn, if I'm underwater, what? I can try and swim to the surface? That is not going to happen. What about in
No.
space? You just float off.
Yeah. You're dead either way. Here's one for you. What would you rather discover? A megalodon is still knocking about, or a dragon?
You know, it's funny is I would rather want the dragon to be discovered, but the reason why, if you ask me that presidential question of where I would want to focus our research into, and I said water, that's because of the megalodon. I don't want to know that's a thing, so I want to make sure it's not an actual thing, and if it is, I want to nuke the shit out of it.
I can actually, I'll just picture now as a president with like the Abe Lincoln beard and the hat, and you're just like, listen, take all the money, search the sea, comb it, because it's a big motherfucking shark. I don't want it to be there. If you find it, kill it.
You shouldn't even have to look that hard. If you just go deep enough, if it's that big, I want to know. I'm just saying, I live in a beach town, and that has changed my mind on ever entering the. I've seen hammerheads. I've seen sharks up close. I've been next to a hammerhead on my jet ski. I don't want to know if that's a thing. A megalodon? Imagine some idiot like a kaiju, for instance, the giant monsters that come out of the deep. We crack a hole in the surface of our earth and just a bunch of ancient ass monsters start coming out, the dinosaurs and shit. I don't want that to happen.
No, mate. Yeah.
All right, I got one for you. You could either be in Pompeii when the volcano is going off, or on the Titanic. That's a better one than the Pearl Harbor.
Oof. Either way, you're gonna die. So I'm going for Pompeii.
I fucking hate the cold, so I'd choose Pompeii.
I think it'll be a faster death. Have you seen that picture come out? I don't know. It was circling the internet ages ago. There's a dude jerking off just as the volcano goes off. So he's perfectly casting ash, but
Yeah.
he's got his cock in his hand, and he's just like, good.
What would you do?
If you're gonna die,
what would you do in your last minutes? Maybe that was the only thing that could get him to climax. And did you see the picture of the guy that escaped the volcanic eruption? But then as he was running just outside of the town, he escaped the lava and everything. A giant boulder crushed him into the ground, like something shot off from the town, like the volcano, like exploded something, and a giant boulder stone chunk had crushed half his body, the top half, into the ground where his legs were just pointing out like a fucking cartoon. I was like, imagine that. You're the survivor of Pompeii, and then you make it outside of town. It says you are now leaving Pompeii, and then a freaking boulder just crushes you into the ground.
yeah, no, that's yeah, no, you'd be pissed off. Yeah, he said you just turn around like, huh, I made it, suckers, and boom.
Start flicking off the town, all the people that you hated.
Oh,
I feel like the Titanic would be a good one though, just on the aspect of like there is a chance you could probably survive if you get on the ship. Like if you look like me, where I'm kind of looking like I'm 12 years old, I could probably survive because they take women and children first.
Yeah, not a bad shot. I think, yeah, it'd just be a hellish experience because I think it's a long time. I think I'm only going off the movie here and a few documentaries, but I think it was like a good few hours that it took to sink. It wasn't like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it took 20 minutes, but
No, it's
I'm sure someone.
it took a while to sink. It took a good bit, but the idea was, are you going to be stuck in the boat? Like, would you want to stay on the Titanic, or would you want to have a slow death? Like, would you want to quick and over with, like just drown underwater, or would you just wait till the ship sunk, or ship? Wow, say that 3 times fast. Ship sunk, and then it would be a slow death because you would slowly just freeze.
I think I'd take my chances. Like, yeah, I'd exit the ship and try and get on some debris, maybe, or just swim to somewhere or other. But you know, I'd fight at least, and then
I could punch a shark.
let it succumb to something.
You could either be stuck on a stranded island like Tom Hanks in Castaways, or you could be stuck in the mountains like the movie The Gray.
I think I'd take the island, but funny you should mention that as another plug for the podcast. We did an episode where I abandoned Nick on an island, but Nick is like an outdoorsman. You know, he likes so he's like, oh mate, this is boss. I'll build like stone huts and all sorts of stuff. So he loved it. But yeah, I think I'd take an island over the mountains. Like,
I build my house out of sandalwood. Just specifically sandalwood. I would just search the whole island looking for it, and if there wasn't any, then I wasn't getting a house.
Oh, let me try and get another scenario for you.
I'm tossing them out like they're candy at a parade, brother.
You got crackers here.
I just try and put myself in scenarios. This is what I do in my free time, is I just put myself in scenarios that would be impossible for me to get out of. I'm the type of guy that would die like fourth in the movie, not make it all the way to the end. And I'm okay with that.
All right. Here's one. Here's a fun one. Right. You're in a standard size swimming pool, right? It's all one. Oh, sorry. Start again. It's a standard size swimming pool. It's 0.5 meter deep, 5 foot, no, 3 foot deep at the shallow end, and it's 2 meters deep, 6 foot whatever, at the deep end. You and a dolphin fight to the death. Quick, take the dolphin.
Wait, I'm fighting a dolphin to the death?
Yeah.
I don't think a dolphin's very fierce. I'm pretty sure I could kill it in a second.
I don't know. I think haven't dolphins kill sharks and stuff?
No, they're afraid of sharks because they're bullies and they go in packs. But if it's one lone dolphin, me in a 3-foot pool with a dolphin, I'm killing that dolphin. You should have matched me up with like an octopus. That thing's impossible to kill. But you got to make the octopus like the size of like myself, so it's an even match. Like I would have to, if I was fighting the dolphin, I would have to like put my hands behind my back and just have to headbutt
him. Just headbutt an octopus to death.
You got to make the fight fair, or you got to make it impossible for you. That's how I like to play. I want to make it to where, like, if I'm fighting Bigfoot, don't even give me a knife, because this is going to be an impossible fight. But I want to go out swinging in like a heroic death. Like, I'd rather die by Bigfoot than die by Meg. That just eats like 100,000 people in one bite, where it's Bigfoot's like a one-on-one personal type thing.
Yeah, it's going to pull your arms out like a Wookiee.
I didn't even think of that. Give me a knife. Holy crap.
No, but back to the dolphin. Right? I think if you can lure the dolphin to you in the shallow end, I give you that. But if the dolphin takes you to the deep end and then drowns you,
yep. that could happen depending on how smart the dolphin is. Are we talking about like a Shamu, like SeaWorld style dolphin where it just hates people? Or are we talking about like a dolphin with a bad attitude?
Yeah, this is like, the scenario is you two just appear in this pool, and your first instinct is fight to the death. You don't know why, but you just need to know. You're both in this pool, and there's only one way you're getting out.
Can I bring an item with me?
No.
But all right, can I bring a food item?
Sure. What do you want?
I want to bring goldfish. I want to put one in his hole so he can't breathe.
So you guys little goldfish in your fingers. Yeah, so say at the shallow end, it's just above your knee, and then in the deep end, it's like half a meter above your head height. So he's got depth at the deep end, and you've got the shallow end. So you've got a low.
And I can't escape until somebody's dead, right?
Yeah, that's just that's the hypothetical.
So the shallow end, I could sit there the whole entire time. He would never come into it. So then we could just, I can't build a fort. So I'd eventually get bored. So I'd end up going into the deep end. And that's where I'm in bad territory because he could drown me.
Or vice versa. If you wait out the dolphin, he's gonna, he's come and get you as well. Or he might come over to inquisitor. You know what I mean?
I could lure him in with the goldfish.
Yeah, you go. Lure him in with the goldfish.
Just get him taunted by eating the goldfish, his friends in front of him. That's a good scenario. I like that one. I'm thinking about it's like Fear Factor. Like, what would you rather do? Eat that's why Fear Factor got canceled, right? Like the original one.
Yeah. With his there's was it gonna drink like a glass of jizz basically.
He would have to. They were wanting the people to drink donkey cum or like ring around a horseshoe like 8 times and then drink the donkey cum if they didn't do it. So like, what would you do? Would you go for the shot or just straight up drink it? Like, would you embarrass yourself on television by missing horseshoes and then drinking it, or would you just drink it straight up knowing you're not going to win?
I probably just shake Joe Rogan's hand and be like, "No, mate, I've had fun today on the show, and I'll see myself out. Don't worry about it."
Let Joe Rogan stick to podcasting. We can't do Fear Factor and just walk out.
Yeah. There's no way. Even to this hypothetical, I could just say I want to.
Well, you got to think, because if you drink it straight up, then you're going to have a different effect with people. They're like, well, he's doing it for the money. But then if you play the game and then fail, people are going to laugh at you because that's your punishment now. But if you took the choice, it's not a punishment.
What was it? Was it a full glass or was it like a shot glass?
It was a chalice.
Oh no.
Like it's not like you're just getting a sip. Oh, like I'm gonna get one of those little test sip cups. No, it was a straight up chalice. Like you're gonna be sitting there for a minute, probably gonna have to go in for more than one sip.
Yeah, it's gonna be like thick as well. I imagine like a McDonald's shake. You just gotta. Oh yeah, that's the face, mate. That's the face of it. Yeah.
I can't. The consistency of it is what scares me.
Oh, the smell. No, right. Okay, mate. Let's move on because this is not gonna be sick.
I can't stop thinking about it now. I'm thinking of a Fear Factor situation. Would you rather eat bugs or would you rather eat feces?
Bugs, definitely.
Really, bugs?
Yeah, I mean,
like live cockroaches, or
oh Jesus,
you have to eat like mouse poop or something.
See, mouse poop's like it's quite small and like a little,
that's what I'm saying,
round ball,
like a Tic Tac. Except it makes your breath smell like shit.
Yeah, shit tack. I changed the scenario. I'd probably eat a shit tack rather than a live cockroach. But when you said feces first, I would just imagine like a big fucking human shit with sweet corn in it.
I'm talking about scraping it off like something like, I don't know, you'd see off the streets of like San Francisco. I'm talking about just like an animal.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'd take a little like a rabbit dropping or.
I'll give you a lifelong debate that's been a thing in my household for the longest time, and it's been mentioned in a few episodes in the past. Would you rather fight a shark or a bear?
Let's go back to that swimming pool idea again.
It's a bear, dude. How do you even like? I've seen The Revenant, so I know a bear's gonna fuck me up. Before I thought I had a fighting chance. I would take that. It'd be the quickest death. I can't do a shark where it bites my leg off and then swing it. Something I can't see, and I'm in its territory on land. I live on land. I can easily know how this works.
Yeah, that's it, man. Either way, you're fucked.
That's what I'm saying. There's no survival in this game. We're just talking about what's a better way to. It's like 1,000 ways to die.
Yeah. I take the shark. I think it's a.
Really?
I don't know. I got fascinated with sharks. I like sharks, but
Wow, you like sharks and I hate sharks.
I think that's just because obviously I have been in Old Blight. We don't have sharks in our seas. We can go to the seaside and go swimming, no problem. Whereas I imagine if you, like you said, you go out on your jet ski and you got hammerhead sharks out there, it's
Well, I'll make you a
scary
deal.
times.
And whenever COVID's over, I'm gonna drag your ass out to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and I'll go all the way to Yellowstone with a thing of T-bones around my neck, and then we'll see what happens when a bear and a shark gets involved.
It's a deal, mate.
Well, Jake, why don't you go ahead and promote the show, man, and where people can find you at?
Oh, cheers, man. Right. Yeah, so it's Surprise Scenarios. You can get us on all the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Podchaser, Podbean, you name it, we're on there. And if we're not, hit us up and we'll get on there. You can follow us on all the social medias at scenarios_pod. And check us out, guys.
I'll make sure I link it in the description. And thank you for listening to this episode Out of the Blank podcast.